Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Wake Up Bright, where I share all of the things that help me live each day a little brighter. I'm April Lauren and I'm on a journey to lose 200 pounds, 70 down, 130 to go. Today's video, I'm finally doing my Q&A. So earlier in December, I posted on my community page and asked if you guys had any good cues for me. You guys really loaded me up with some amazing and good questions. I have about 40 minutes. My husband's gonna help me. He's in the background. He's gonna go through as many as we can. I've kind of broken them up by topic, and then some may have their own video later. Let's just go ahead and get into the cues.
What made you start this journey? What is something you did to motivate yourself to start and keep going? You're doing amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So I started my journey because I knew if I didn't that my life was over, to be perfectly honest. It already was, my life was unrecognizable to me. I had gained very rapidly about 30 pounds once I was furloughed, and I knew if I didn't pump the brakes, if I didn't hard stop what I was currently doing and straighten up, that I would be immobile and that my life would essentially be over. None of the things my husband and I want for our lives would be possible. And I also knew if I continued the cycle of yo-yo dieting or crash dieting, doing things, anything other than a lifestyle change, that I would continue the cycle, and same result, I would end up not in a good place. So I have overhauled everything, and my motivation to do this is that I want to live a long, healthy life.
How has watching back your videos, especially during editing, stretched you?
Watching myself back during editing, this is something recently that I've noticed. If there's some space between the time I record and the editing process, I tend to view things a lot more positively in the footage. However, typically when I first record it and then watch it back, I'm hypercritical. That's been something interesting. I'm not exactly sure what to do with that, but it's definitely an interesting observation that I've made. And then it's a difficult thing to watch yourself. I don't necessarily like the way that I talk. There's little mannerisms and stuff that I was already aware of that now I'm even more critical of, but overall it is such a good experience to have this journal and this sort of place to share my thoughts, and it's been pretty powerful. And yeah.
What's your plan diet weight-wise over Christmas? Maintain, continue to lose slowly, or eat as you like and tackle the outcome next year? I find it helpful to have a goal in mind.
So considering the last weigh-in that you guys saw, you may think that I was like, just throw caution to the wind and do whatever and tackle it at the first of the year. But my plan was to just live my life, and hopefully living it in a healthy, happy way that leads to weight loss, even if it's slow. So while I did have the gain, you guys will see the results on Wednesday of the week after. So I'm a week ahead. As I said, that's what I would be doing. And that has been very good for me, being a week ahead of what is out there in the internet world. So I'm excited for that and to share that next week. But my plan is to continue forward. Continuing forward on my journey.
What advice would you tell to your younger self?
Advice, I would tell myself so much, of course, but let's just put it within the context of weight loss specifically. And the why behind me sharing my journey on YouTube is that there really isn't people who've done it slow and sustainably and continued forward on their journey without doing extreme measures. And my message to my younger self would be, you don't have to be extreme. You are not broken. You need to learn how to eat healthy, and you need to go through making good habits, and those good habits will compound over time and lead you to where you need to be. If I would have done what I'm doing now at like 19, I just can't imagine what kind of life I would have lived. I wish anyone watching, especially if you're young, just know you're not broken and you can lose the weight in a slow, sustainable way.
Do you have a favorite song you like to work out to? And what is your favorite movie or show you like to binge watch?
Babe, what kind of music do I listen to when I work out?
Horrible music.
I listen to Megan Thee Stallion when I'm in the gym, so, you know. And then the other was favorite movie?
Yeah, movie or show you like to binge watch?
We love Yellowstone, and right now we're really enjoying the new Dexter, but I love Yellowstone. It is my most favorite show probably ever.
What are your major struggles on the daily or the whole picture, and how do you overcome them?
So I struggle with motivation. I struggle with being overly critical and negative towards myself. I have been going through a bout of depression, so sometimes it's hard to just do basic things. And then what has carried me through those are just habits and trying to walk back intense self-loathing, for lack of a better word. And yeah, that's probably not the brightest answer, but that's the answer.
Do you think you'll ever go back to a regular job?
Will I ever go back to a regular job? I do not think I will ever exclusively work for someone else again. I have had lots of business ideas, and my husband and I have had business ideas together. Right now, our future is so up in the air, it's hard to nail things down, but ideally, I will create some sort of business for myself, probably like a business-to-business type business. My background's in public relations and communications, and so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I have not made any definitive choices yet, though.
Top 3 life-changing things someone new should stick to when changing their habits to healthy.
1, you know somewhere inside you what's good for you and what's bad for you, and you know this better than anyone else. And so the first thing that I would recommend to anyone is you trust you. You trust your gut. You trust how you feel. And sometimes we're so conditioned, I feel like, to not do that and to be in the search for an outside answer to our life's problems, whatever those problems are. It's hard to walk that back and trust yourself. But the first thing you can do is start to trust yourself. And then the second thing is figure out how you can eat sustainably at a calorie deficit if weight loss is your goal. And the third thing would probably just be to get outside, get some fresh air, like every single day, no matter what. Like, go outside for just a few minutes because it's good for your mental health and it's good for just getting some physical activity in, even if you're just standing. Like, just go stand outside. And this is my very unexpert advice. I am not a mental health professional. I'm not a fitness professional. I am not a weight loss fitness professional. These are just my very own, not so objective opinions.
Unrelated to weight loss, but what's your favorite book?
Probably Animal Farm. I don't know. My favorite authors, I love George Orwell. I love F. Scott Fitzgerald for very different reasons, but also similar.
Very different writers.
Yes. I feel like that kind of, my husband's like, they're very different writers. I feel like they're both cynical in a way. It's really hard to pin down a favorite book or a favorite author specifically. It's kind of like I want to go like, well, what genre? Like, what time period? Like, there's so many questions to ask. But those were the first 2 that came to my mind, so we're gonna go with that.
Would you be up for making little challenges together with your viewers, perhaps doing a certain routine for a couple weeks or months or the likes?
So I did Fituary last year, so comment down below and let me know if you want me to do Fituary again. Fituary did not include a diet plan and it did not include a workout plan. It just was a little checklist of things that I do, and I invited people to do it with me. I'm down for that, and I think Fituary was exactly that. So comment down below, let me know, and we might do Fituary this February.
YouTubers do you watch for inspiration?
I watch a lot. He's not a YouTuber, but I watch a lot of David Goggins videos. Like, anytime I want to do something hard, and I like am trying to chicken out on doing it, I'll put his like video on and then I'll end up doing whatever it is, which is pretty fun. The main YouTuber that I watch though is probably Nick Bear. There's a few other people that I watch for different reasons, but as far as like motivation to live each day a little better, I've enjoyed watching his journey since he was Ranger School, so probably Nick Bear.
David Goggins has a potty mouth. Warning.
David Goggins has a potty mouth. That is true.
How are you liking North Carolina so far?
We love it. It feels like home.
Do you get thigh chafing, and how do you address it?
I do. The main thing I use, it's something called a Remedy soap. It's like they sell it on Amazon, and I do that. And then there's like, once you have like that monkey butt situation going, even if it's not like on your butt, there's some creams and stuff. I think it's like called Z-Guard paste that I've used before. And then the term monkey butt comes from like a solution to that problem. Lots of soldiers get it. It's caused from like the moisture, the rubbing, and then it like dries. And then when you're sweat and it's sticky. And so then it rubs and then it's raw, right? That does sound, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's kind of grossing me out. So we're going to move on.
Body Glide if you want to hit it before it becomes a problem.
Body Glide.
How tall are you?
5'2".
Shorty.
I love you.
Why did you gain so much weight? Did you go to college? And how is your life as a military wife? And how do you like North Carolina?
Love North Carolina. Life as a military wife is just my life. And college, yes, I went to college, majored in communications, public relations, and what's the other one? Oh, why did I get fat? Why did I blah, blah, blah. There's a whole video, so I'll link to that.
How do you push through when you just have no more to give, when you're burned out or just not feeling it, and how do you keep that feeling from derailing you?
When I get my bearings, I just move forward. I have not been quite myself probably since the move, but the first time I really noticed it was in September. And so I've just taken steps into getting help that I need, into doing things that I need to do, and I haven't spiraled. But my plan is even if I were to spiral, like tomorrow, let's say I just spiraled out of control and binged a bunch of food and did a bunch of horrible things. My plan, and by horrible things, I don't mean like food, but like things that are damaging to myself. Then my plan is, as soon as I get my bearings, to not judge and be overly critical and just move forward. I think the problems for me in life period is when I get caught up in something and I'm tripping and then I'm overly judgmental and rude and mean to myself about tripping, and then that just causes me to fall further. So I'm all about minimizing the damage from any sort of negative headspace that I'm in. And I think being kind to ourselves is the best thing to do. Giving ourselves grace to be where we're at and to continue to press forward. And then as far as motivation, I think just having good habits goes a long way.
So yeah, habits and routine.
Habits and routine. And a husband. I'm lucky enough to have a husband who will remind me of my goals and remind me of my whys and remind me of my habits. Even if it's not always the most eloquent way he does it, he doesn't ever let me give up on myself. And that's pretty powerful. So it doesn't have to be a husband, it doesn't have to be a partner, but having people and community in your lives is very valuable for when you lack the will or the motivation to lean on those around you to help you.
When you reach your current goal weight, will you reevaluate for maintenance or continue weight loss?
And if I get down 200 pounds and I still have knee pain and I feel like that could be cured by losing another 20 pounds, then who's to say I wouldn't lose more weight? I think that that's something that I have to face when I come to that point. My point is that I don't know what the outcome will be when I get to my goal weight. Yes, I will reevaluate everything because I reevaluate everything on a daily, monthly, weekly, yearly basis anyway. So I will continue that progress of reflection and growth.
So what you're saying is 200 pounds is just an arbitrary number.
Arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies or interests beyond the gym, hiking, and your pups? All which I love that you share with us. I'm just... Wait for a super secret talent. You're a secret belly dancer or can play some random instrument.
Well, I have no secret talents like that, so sorry to disappoint. I love photography. Yeah, so I like yoga, working out, spending time outside. Those are my hobbies, my dogs. I love movies. I love going to the movies, and I love photography.
I'm trying to think if there's any secret habit. She likes to dance.
I love to dance, but I don't think that's a secret. I think you guys already know that I love to dance.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, you don't always show yourself dancing, but that's the only one I can think of.
Dancing? Are you saying that I'm really good at it?
I don't know. I don't dance. It helps you stay positive. Let's get back to questions.
What helps me stay positive? I was blessed to be wired in a way where I lean towards positive. I don't hold on to the negative. I do remember. It's not like I don't remember, and I do acknowledge. It's not like I live in a alternate reality where everything's rainbows and sunshine. Sunshine all of the time. But I feel like once I have my darker feelings, I let them go. Once I have fights with people, I let them, not the people go, but I let those feelings go. If I never have the talk or the argument, then I'll hold on to it a little bit. But I think I process and deal with things intensely as they happen, and then I'm able to let them go, and I choose to hang on to positivity and positive memories more than the other. But I also think, like I said, I'm kind of wired that way. I would say my grandpa is wired that way, like on my mom's side, and I think I'm similar to that. I don't know. I'm not convinced. But he's a very terrific person.
Will you have skin removal surgery before having children, or wait?
Skin removal surgery. I think I'll probably wait until I have a child, but I don't like, it just depends, so we will see.
So you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you could travel anywhere right now, where would it be?
The Maldives, and I'd take you with me.
Sounds great. Let's go. All right. Do you belong to a church?
I do belong to a church.
Have you ever sought out talk therapy counseling, and are you still a practicing believer in Christ?
I have a therapist, and it's not the first time in my life that I've had a therapist. I believe in prioritizing your mental health and doing whatever it is that you need to do. And I am a Christian, and an active Christian. I believe in Christ.
Are you going to change up your calories again?
Am I going to change up my calories again? I don't know. Like, well, I mean, recently I have made some pretty sharp adjustments to them. And not anything out of the realm of what I've tried before. I've been very good at tracking, though. I'm been very good at tracking. But it's like literally been like 2 weeks. So, week and a half. But tracking I've been prioritizing tracking. Throughout my journey, it's very hard to say that I've eaten a specific amount of calories, because when I did 75 hard, I tracked the entire time. And there's been a couple other times where I've been really good at tracking. Aside from those times, tracking is something that, like, it just gets me in this place I really can't explain it, which is not a place that I want to be mentally. And so I, like, pull back. But then I don't get the results that I need, and so I need to lean in. And so it's this game that I play with myself. So fun times. Moving on. Let's get another question in here.
Let's see. As you progress through your journey, what protein options have you found to be the most palatable?
We use BPN almost exclusively. I also like Dimetaz. They're ISO 100, but we pretty much just use BPN. It's my favorite. We bought some Ghost protein powder not too long ago. It is not my favorite. I also like Designer Whey, which I think you can get like at Walmart and stuff. To do, if I'm gonna do baking or stuff, like their vanilla Designer Whey protein is pretty good for that. And that's pretty much it. Most protein that we get just comes from our food.
Do you use any supplements such as pre-workout to help push your workouts? And if you don't, how do you get into working out on the days you feel lazy and not wanting to do it?
I definitely use pre-workout. I don't use it every single workout. And I would say just having a plan and finding things that finding things to do that you want to do. I don't think you should force yourself to do things that you don't want to do on a daily basis. And then hopefully you find some sort of routine or community or something that pulls you towards that activity, because I can honestly say there has never been a time where I didn't want to work out and I worked out anyway and then I regretted that choice. However, there has been times where I haven't worked out and then I regret not working out. I think that pushing yourself to do something that you don't want to do that you know is good for you is typically not going to lead you in a bad direction, typically.
Do you track macros? And if so, what's your favorite ratio?
No. And yeah, I could get into ratios and stuff, but I think that there's a lot more people out there that actually track their macros and it's important to them. But if macro tracking is something you're into, there's lots of stuff on the interwebs about it.
What are some of your favorite meals that you just can't wait to eat, but also help you stay healthy? Yeah.
I am not a big, I would eat the same things all the time. So I'm the worst person to ask this. I would eat the same things. That's why whenever I go out of town or anything, it's harder for me because I don't have my routine, my regular things. Like right now I'm really into rice cakes and tuna, or rice cakes and bananas. I just get in and it's usually boring food that's not exciting.
Ground beef, rice, and a veggie.
Ground beef, rice, and veggies. I could eat that every day forever. Chicken breast and sweet potato rounds. Yeah, I have a very boring palate, which is why I copy my husband so much.
Any vitamins or supplements you recommend?
Ever since I got the Big C, I have taken all of the vitamins. So I take vitamin C, I take zinc, I take vitamin D, I take magnesium, but that's mostly for cramps in my legs. And then I take a multivitamin. I think that's everything that I take, but I probably don't have to do that anymore. It's just ever since I got sick, I've been very attached to those vitamins. So.
Do you still use your ultras when going on walks?
I do if I'm going to be in a wooded area. So anytime I'm on soft ground, I'll wear the ultras. But if it's going to be a hard ground, when my husband and I were in Asheville, we actually each got a pair of shoes and I got some...
Everyone knows what you're talking about.
I got some Hokas. And they are like heaven for my feet on the pavement. So before, when I wore my Nikes or I wore other shoes, my knees would sometimes hurt a little more than usual. And with the Hokas, they provide so much cushion. It's real and support. It's been really nice. So, but the Ultras are my go-to for any sort of soft ground.
How do you manage to overcome the pain and adjustments with having to deal with your knees? Because I just can't physically exercise like I used to, and it is so discouraging.
One, there's a modified version of everything. So if you're doing something and you're having pain, walk it back, Google modifications. You're doing that and you're having pain, even if you're not, meeting with your doctor and maybe a physical therapist would be good, because with certain injuries, you're just going to have a level of pain. It's just going to be there. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be different, and you may not be able to do as much. But that doesn't mean, I think we put value on different levels of working out. Just moving is important. So if you can move and you do, then that's great.
What is your 5-year plan / goals?
In the next 5 years, there's so much that I want to do on a personal level. I really hope that I've been a mom for a few years by the time 5 years rolls around. There's so many big life things that I want to have happen. How
do you motivate yourself to work out, even if you're having a low mental health day? Consistency is the most difficult thing for me.
I know you just said consistency is the most difficult thing for you, but consistency is really the only way to build kind of a vault of tools to use against bad mental health days, and that it doesn't even always work. So even if you have like the best habit, you have all of these amazing things that you've outlined for yourself, sometimes you are just going to be blue. You are just not going to get out of the bed, depending on where you're at. And if that's where you're at, my encouragement to you would be, for one, to be in therapy if you're not, and talk to your doctor if you haven't. But after those things is be kind to yourself. Work with yourself at being kind and just accepting that it just is. It is not good or bad. It is something that you go through. It does not define you. And continue forward as soon as you get your bearings or the wherewithal to move forward. And do it without judgment of the past you. Just move forward.
Sometimes I go up to weights of machines or open area with equipment and don't know how to use it properly. Have you ever had a trainer?
Okay, so let me tackle the first part of thing that you said, that you go up to machines and you don't know how to use it. I would just Google it, like look it up. You look up YouTube. Most machines, you've got like the brand and like what it's called. You can look that up and get exactly how to use it. Bodybuilding.com used to have like every single machine and every like little like 1-minute videos of how to do everything. Now you have YouTube with like more descriptions on how to use things from different people. And then I have had a trainer before, and I've had different trainers. So, and then I work with a coach now. But my encouragement is that you have what you need to get started, and you have the tools and the ability to research things out. You don't have to have a trainer. So if you're in a position where you can't afford one, or that's just not something that you're interested in, that's okay. Like, you can figure it out, and it may take you longer, and you just need to be patient with yourself in the learning curve, but you got this. You can do it. And if you want a trainer, then I highly recommend, if you can afford it, to get one.
If you're using a new machine, don't let your pride get involved. Go light.
Yeah, my husband's, I don't know if you could hear him, but he said, don't let your pride get involved, go light. I think he's speaking maybe from experience. Nothing.
What changes did you make to your exercise routine to start training for your first DECA?
So the thing about DECA is I had the video where I shared my big secret that I want to run a Spartan, and I've been preparing to do that since October. And the DECA, I really didn't do anything different than what I had been doing for Spartan, except the gym that I offered had a DECA class, and it was just once a week, so it wasn't really like very different. And then we did movements that were going to be in the DECA for about 5 weeks or so. It wasn't long, but yeah, so that's what I did.
When exercising, how do you know how high to target your heart rate? I see you check your watch, so with your weight loss, has it changed? I'm just asking because I really don't know how to.
So if you don't know how to, I would look it up online. Google, what should my target heart rate be? And then if you're tracking it, whether it's, you're just taking your pulse yourself, or you're doing like a watch or whatever, you can follow that. I do a MyZone belt. So MyZone has zones, and I got this from working at the fitness company that I used to work for, but lots of gyms use them now. So like even the gym that I currently work out at, they use MyZone, but it actually breaks your heart rate into colors, and then you aim for colors, which that's not what they do at the specific gym that I'm at now, but that's kind of how I monitor it. And then I just know, if I feel certain ways and I look down at my pulses at a certain point that I want to slow down. And what I do is I look at my watch and I wait for my pulse to come down to where I'm comfortable. So not necessarily into a specific zone, but I just wait until it comes down. So like if I'm working out and I feel like like feeling a little like I've done too much and my heart rate's like in the high 170s or something, then I will take a few breaths until I get it into like the 160s or something like that before I continue forward. Google it, though. I'm not a professional.
Lyra, what's your advice to someone just getting started on a fitness journey?
Go slower than you want to. That's my advice with all of it. Like whether you're going to start a weight loss journey or you're going to start a fitness journey, you're excited and your mind's going in 1,000 different places, and maybe this isn't you, and if it's not you, then this isn't for you. But for most people, I feel like when you're about to start something, it's so exciting and you want to change everything right now. Like, resist that urge to change everything right now. Or you can change everything, but pick just a couple things that you're going to do no matter what going forward. So that could be like, I'm going to work out regularly. And maybe that looks like at first like 1 or 2 times a week. Like, no matter what, I'm going to work out like 1 or 2 times. No matter what, I'm going to drink, 64 ounces of water. No matter what, I'm going to go stand outside for 10 minutes. Like, pick a few things that no matter what, you're going to be able to do, and make it small and manageable. And then those little things compound over time to where you have big life change. And that's what I recommend. Start slower, smaller than what you think you need to, or maybe even what you want to. And I think that yields the most success over a long period of time. I'm not saying that you can't change everything and people aren't successful changing everything immediately and then moving forward, because some people are and they're wired that way. I am not one of those people.
When I did this, I used to do aerobics and I loved the dance videos. At some point, I would get a natural rush or high from just loving the routine. Have you experienced that high?
Yeah, I definitely have, with lots of different physical activity. It's a great feeling. And I think that's why I said earlier that I haven't ever regretted a workout that I've done, because I think once you start, like, you just release those endorphins and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel accomplished, and that's a powerful feeling.
All right. I like this one because I already know the answer. But I want to know where you got the kettle hell workout.
I got it from my friend Yenna, and Yenna got it from the interwebs, and I have not been able to find her source, nor has she been able to find her original source. So she either dreamed up that she had Googled it and found a workout, or it's just no longer on the interwebs. And Yenna is a Google master. Like, if it's on the interwebs, she can pretty much find it for you.
And a Reddit master.
And a Reddit. Yenna's awesome. Yenna's just awesome.
Are you using weights, etc.? Will you gain weight from muscle, and how will you incorporate that?
I have incorporated strength training. Strength training was easier for me than just walking when I first started. So I have consistently done strength training throughout my entire journey. I only recently have started pushing the limits of how heavy I can go. So, Yenna and I had gotten to the point where we were comfortable to start pushing, and then we moved. And so I wasn't comfortable pushing myself with heavy weight alone. So it wasn't until I started working out at iFit that I increased the weights. Strength training has always been a part of my journey. And yes, I think that it definitely has added more muscle. I think I have more muscle than most people would think. Strength training alone is not going to cause you to gain weight in the form of muscle unless you are eating excess calories. So it will sometimes cause you to have more swelling and water retention in your body. I experienced that. My body is like a rapid sweller. I don't know if that's like a legit thing, but like if I work out, like my body instantly, like it puffs up and it maintains that sort of, it's not really a bloat. It's like just a soreness, it's a recovery. My body is just really good, I guess, at trying to recover. So my hair loss from the big C, it did stop. It stopped not long after I noticed it. So it had been going on probably for a while before my sister called and asked me if I was experiencing it. And I was like horrified because I thought it was just in my mind. And then I realized like that it wasn't. But I don't know, you really can't tell right now. It's kind of grown out. But there for a while in the sunlight and stuff, I had like a little mohawk of hairs, just so many hairs sticking straight up. So yes, it just came back. I do good vitamins, like I have a good vitamin regimen, and then I also eat as clean, as healthy as I can most of the time.
You have a skincare routine. You always look so fresh and glowing.
Thank you. I do moisturizer and sunscreen, and I wash my face. So yes, and it's simple.
Do you feel like your hair is your security blanket, or would you ever chop it?
I definitely feel like my hair was a security blanket, and I just like my hair. So it's not necessarily, I think, like a bad thing. Like, I like my hair. But I did chop about 7 inches off the back, and to get to this point up here, it was quite a bit more than 7 inches. It was more like double that. So I just really chopped a bunch of hair off, so.
The most she's ever chopped off since being married to me?
Yeah, since being married to him, it's the most I've cut off at one time. There was a point in high school and there was a point in middle school where my hair was very long, longer than it is right now. And I went from that length to a bob. Every time I have done that has been a mistake, so I will not do that again. I learned. I didn't learn it the first time, but I learned it the second time.
Well, you mentioned it, but I was wondering why you named the dogs the names you have.
So Julio is named after Julio Jones. He was an Alabama football player. Then he played for the Falcons for a long time, which my husband loves the Falcons. I love the University of Alabama. And so we decided on Julio Bones. I thought it was really cute. And then we also both love the Braves. So Chipper is named after Chipper Jones or Chipper Bones. So we have Julio and Chipper. That's their name story.
How long have you had your puppers?
Since they were born, almost. Well, Julio was like 12 weeks and Chipper was 8 weeks. Chipper's birthday's tomorrow.
Do you buy your puppies Christmas presents?
We do not. They get a little extra love, maybe a little extra meat. They just destroy, we don't buy them toys, period, because they just destroy the toys. Even like a rope, like Julio, that's his favoriteest toy, but it's literally in 1,000 million billion pieces in like 2 seconds. And we are careful with the types of balls that we get them. We do like the orange Chuck-It balls that are rubber. Those typically last a long time. I think it's because they respect the fact if they don't tear it up, then they get to play fetch, and they love fetch. Oh, and he's got a ball. This right here is also a ball that I get for them. So this is a Kong, like indestructible ball. Julio has managed to like destroy. You can kind of see this one's close to being at a point where he could rip through it, but we just, you know, don't leave them unattended with toys.
A while back, I asked what conclusion you'd come to after being told to eat more calories when you have PCOS.
I don't really understand like what the two have to do with each other. I was gonna do a video on both of those things at one point and I still haven't. I'm sorry. So I was gonna do like a dedicated video on like PCOS, and then I was gonna do a dedicated video on like the calories. The issue with the calories is that I had that meeting where the nutritionist told me to increase my calories. Then I also had the doctor's appointment where the doctor was like, you need to lose 90 pounds. And I just went like 2 things I could not get wrapped around my head. And then I've also, like I've already shared, been in a bout of depression, I feel like. So it's been very hard. And I would say I never gave the calorie increase a fair shot. And I don't know if I will.
Do you have PCOS? Someone commented that, but I don't remember if you have it. Do you take any vitamins or supplements that you recommend?
I do have PCOS, and I wouldn't recommend other people to take vitamins or supplements. I think you can get anything that you need from a good healthy diet and a good night's sleep. And I think that you should consult your medical professionals if you're going to take other things. So meeting with your primary care doctor and getting blood work would be good. And then always just taking a good multivitamin. So the last question that I'm going to answer is, what is the non-scale victory that has made the biggest impact? And to that I would say just my mobility. The fact that I can move and walk and clean without physical pain is definitely the most life-changing, and I'm so far from my goal. Like, I still have 130 more pounds to go, and yet my day-to-day quality of life is completely different. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for each one of you. Thank you so much for asking me your questions. I've already answered some questions in categories that I probably will do separate videos on, like the fertility questions. There's also like a weight loss category, and we just ran out of time when we were filming. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for your encouragement on my journey, and I look forward to seeing you next time.